Okay, we are back for another review of All the Queen's Men on BET Plus. We are on season 2, episode 7, entitled "Pimpin' Ain't Easy." We learned last episode that Amp may or may not have participated in Madam being robbed of her 2 point however much millions of dollars. So Diamond, like I said, she found, like I said, last review, she found the money under Amp's bed and she puts it right back under there. She's like, listen, she don't know what to do with the information. So she puts it back where she found it. She grabs the pills and she gets ready to leave to head back to the club. And Amp is standing right behind her. Chad, that would have gave me a absolute heart attack at that moment. But Amp was standing right behind her, and so he tells her that soon after she left, Madam convinced him that he looks like crap, he's still not feeling well, and he needs to go home. And he says, thanks for coming to get the painkillers. And at this point, she don't know if this man has something to do with, the money being taken. She don't know what to do with this information. She's still processing. So she's like trying to do everything she can to get out of that apartment. She's like, I got to go back to the club. I got to get ready for the next set. I don't care about nothing you're talking about. I'm trying to get out of him. And he wants her to stay with him and apologizes for his behavior earlier with having an attitude. And then he vows to be honest from here on out. And she don't care about none of that. All she really wants to do is get out of that apartment. And he asked her, like, are you coming over after work? And she was like, no, I got a lot to do. Which would be a wrong move, because that you're indicating to him like something's wrong, but you're not telling him like everybody's attitudes are shifting, which we'll see more of that in between episodes 7 and 8. But everybody's attitudes are shifting towards him. And if we're not trying to lead him on to us knowing the information, you changing how you normally behave is a dead giveaway. Anyway, and he asked her, like, are you thinking about what Patrice said about her daughter and, my role in her death? Like, what's going on? And again, she's all out of sorts and she just kind of rushes out. All right. Fuego is performing, and Fuego/Alonzo is performing. And after his set, Miss Bachelorette Carla, she comes walking up, and she really just not letting it go. Of course, we know she's going to get a VIP room and she's going to insist on talking to him, but that'll come up later. Rayshawn is so goddamn gullible. It hurts my feelings to see Rayshawn is going to get taken advantage of over and over and over again. Rayshawn is 22, I think he said. Rayshawn is 22 years old and he has no life experience. He's not really sure how the world works, and this episode really solidifies that for me. And, I'll give you examples as we go through the review. So Rayshawn is sitting there talking to Tommy, offering to help him. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get up his machismo, his bravado, I guess, for the next time that Babyface punches the hell out of him. So he's like, if you need help, if it's a fight going on, like, I'm going to help you out. And Tommy is like, what is it that you think you can help me with? He was like, like he said, I can help you. And Tommy shows him that he's not prepared. He's not about that life, because he just slaps him off guard. He's like, listen, man, you didn't even have to do all that. And I wasn't ready. And Tommy tells him, like, if you're going to be around here, you got to stay ready. You can't get ready. You got to be ready. And he's like, listen, you can't help me with nothing. Just going about your business. And Rayshawn is there holding his face from the slap. And the boy is about to cry. The young man is about to cry. And that lets me know you are not ready for this life. You are not what you need to be. Because if you're about to cry off of a slap, what Tandy and her husband are about to do to you are going to make you want to jump off something high. But again, we'll get into that. All right, so Madam's on the phone with the concierge, and he has an offer for her, and she doesn't really want to hear it. He tells her, that the stunt you pulled at the junkyard, it has a lot of city council people on edge. And what that means is your actions are going to trickle down. So it's going to put pressure on the mayor, and then the mayor's going to put pressure on the governor. And, it's just going to trickle down, and it's going to affect us. And since we're now in a position to play chess and not checkers, we got to move a little bit different. And he tells her, like, listen, you are an asset. You know that you're an asset to me and what I got going on. I could have fixed that with one phone call. You didn't have to get your hands dirty. And, of course, she's the ultimate independent. And she tells him, like, I don't need you handling my problems. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. But it would just be good, to have allies in the situation. Let's move a little bit different. I know you've been on your own since you've been 14 and you don't need me to solve your problems, blah, blah, blah. I am aware. But I'm trying to show you a different way, but she's not really getting it. She ain't receptive to the information. He tells her that you're killing ants with a sledgehammer, which really means you're taking unnecessary risk. You're applying too much massive power to such small events. Let's just relax. And somebody that has true power it's quiet. Power really whispers. So you doing too much loudness right now. And he knows that she's not open to the discussion currently. So he tells her, I'll call you back when you're a little bit more receptive, and hangs up the phone. All right. Tandy comes to the club, and of course it's just to take a dig at Babyface, but he thinks that she's there for him, and he's like, no, I'm not here for you. Here for Rashawn. And she's like, listen, I'm good on you. I'm not here for you. And of course, Babyface is jealous because, one, his cash cow is not funding him, not tipping him anymore. And two, a amateur has come in and taken his place in Tandy's bed. So, he's upset. And he also thought he was going to pimp Rashawn out. He thought Rashawn was so naive to the fact that he was just going to be able to pimp that man out, and there'd be, he'd be none the wiser. However, he got a little bit of sense. He still don't got no common sense, and he don't, know how the world works, but he knew enough to get in good with Tandy, but that's probably not in his best interests, but to be developed. All right. And she tells him, I like you because you're young, you're naive, you're teachable. And he tells her, like, I'm not naive. And she tells him, yes, you are not like that, but by way of being teachable. Sure. Whatever you say, Tandy. All right. And then she asks him, how's that car doing? How's the car treating you? And he's just stuttering, and he tells her, and she's like, okay, let's just go to VIP, and I'll tell you more. And Babyface is just standing there looking stupid because, again, like I said, his cash cow is slipping away from him. And remember, the lawyer lady is not dealing with him right now either, and she's vowed to ruin his life. So, he's losing control of everything at this point. All right. Blue tells Fuego that he has a VIP, and it's the Sandra the Bachelorette. And he really don't want to be bothered with the situation, but she tells him, listen, she paid the money, so go see what she wants. Go get that money. Thank you. All right. Rashawn. Rashawn is in VIP with Tandy, and he is performing a service for her. And she tells him that, if he keeps it up, he keeps doing a good job, they're going to get him another car. And then she asks him, where do you live? And he was like, I don't live that far from here with my girlfriend. And then she tells her that her and her husband are going to put him up in a place, and they don't want him working at Eden anymore. And for me, that's very fast. It hasn't been that long, but we're going to go with it. She tells him that they have a room over their garage. He needs to get rid of that girlfriend. He needs to lay out by the pool naked all day and just enjoy the benefits of being their servant of sorts. So she hands him $3,000, and she's like, go ahead, go and get ready to move in. I know you need a couple of days, but I need you moved in ASAP. All right, so she walks away. Babyface comes in next, and he wants to know, like, what did she say? What did she say? Basically trying to bully Rashawn into knowing what Tandy said to him. And he's like, listen, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you nothing. And for some reason, Babyface thinks he's Rashawn. He really believes in his mind that he's Rashawn's pimp. But he also is a little bit more seasoned, and he knows how this life works. And he says, oh, she told you she was going to put you up, and she was going to pay for this, and you was going to be all that. Don't be naive. I've been in this business since I was 17, and I'm telling you that, they're going to use you up and throw you away once the next young dude comes along. And he says that that didn't happen to him, but he knows so much about how the process works. We're just going to assume that it did, and he just doesn't want to admit it. But Rashawn seems to think that he's different, and that's not going to happen to him. Again, just young, naive Rashawn. Poor guy. He's such a sweetie. He's such a sweet guy. But he's going to get taken advantage of. Tandy and her husband are going to ruin his life, and that's horribly unfortunate. But I guess you got to learn these lessons the hard way. Babyface is in the dressing room, whining about Tandy, her husband, and the night with Rashawn, just telling it to the other guys. And they tell him, like, so you took 10 bands, he did the work that you weren't willing to do, and you just left him out there. He was like, yeah, you got to let your bottom bitch, get the experience. And start from the bottom. And so basically they tell him, like, you did that man dirty. Like, give him his money back, give him his car. Like, that's kind of grimy how you did him. And he keeps asking, like, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? And Babyface is just asking them, like, whose side are you on? And they're basically trying to tell him, like, listen, we on the side of right on this one. Like, you did that dude dirty. And he's like, no, it's my money, my contacts, so he owes me. And they remind him, like, the money was in sucking off the husband, which you weren't willing to do. So that man did the work, he earned the money. Come on, do right by that man. And of course, he don't want to hear it. He just gonna try to bully his way through the situation. Trouble runs into Rayshawn, and he tells her that, I'm quitting. He's got a good situation going with Tandy and her husband, and he don't want no parts. He got to go. And she while Trouble is annoying, she does give him good advice in this scene. She tells him, like, you don't know much about Tandy, and you're gonna go live with her. Like, you're gonna quit your job. It's gonna get weird, right? And he, again, just in space. He's a space cadet. He don't know what's going on. He's like, why would you say that? And she was like, listen, they just gonna keep wanting more and more and more and more. Are you ready to risk it all? And he still thinks that it's just sex and, just him being their little boy toy, and it's gonna be a sweet gig. And she's like, listen, I knew a dude in Atlanta, and he did something similar to some young guys, and he killed a lot of them, and I just don't want that for your life. And again, he still ain't hearing her, and she's like, listen, let me introduce them to me. I'm a pretty good judge of character. Let me meet them, and maybe I can give you some, insight on to the type of people they are. And he's like, no, I'm good. And she tells him, all right, cool. But at least do me this one favor. Tell Madam that you're leaving, so she knows in the event that you have to come back. Let's just do this the right way. Give her a courtesy. And again, Rayshawn is on somewhere on Mars. He's like, well, do you think I need to freshen up? Do you think I need to take a cologne? Put some cologne on? Just take a shower before I go see her? The man is green as grass. If you're Southern, you know what that means. Rayshawn is green as a blade of grass. He don't know nothing about nothing. So he goes to Madam's office, and Tommy opens the door, and Tommy's like, well, do you think she don't give a shit about you leaving? And he's like, I don't know, but I want to, talk to her. I want to give her the courtesy. And Tommy tells him that he's just dumb as hell and go away. And Madam's like, who's at the door? And it's like, oh, nobody you want to talk to. And Madam's like, well, go ahead, just let him in. And Rayshawn is terrified of Tommy. He is terrified of Tommy based on a slap. Based on just a little quick slap that Tommy gave him, he is terrified of him. And again, further solidifies that Rayshawn is not well versed in common sense or the ways of the world, because he is comparing him working at Eden to a fast food experience by way of him placing a suggestion in the suggestion box. He's leaving, and he wants to leave her with a parting suggestion, because that's what worked when he worked at the fast food restaurant before coming to work at Eden. All right. So he tells me that the junior performers are not treated well, and that maybe the older guys could be nicer, and maybe they'd be willing to stay longer. Whole time. And he tells her today's his last day. And so Madam is sitting there faking care and concern, like, oh, really? I'm listening to your suggestions. Tell me, you writing that down? And he again, oblivious. He can't pick up the sarcasm in her voice or anything. And he tells her that he's like, I don't know if you know what it is, but I have a tipper, and she's going to take care of me, as if she's not well versed in this life. Tells her, the tipper and her husband are going to take care of him from here on out. And she reminds him, like, so let me get this right. You've only been here a few weeks. And so that tells me you know this lady in less time than that. And you know her well enough to move in with her and thinks that she's so nice and she's going to take care of you and they're great people. Yeah, that's what I think. Rayshawn, just as dumb as a rock at this point. And he tells Madam, like, you're so nice. I don't know why everybody's so afraid of you. You're just a nice, warm, cuddly lady. And then he goes on to tell her that Babyface took his car and he introduced them and he thinks he's owed something. So basically, Madam is just collecting the information, but she's feigning her interest in the conversation. And so she says, this information has been very helpful. He says, you're a nice lady. I like talking to you. I don't know why everybody's so afraid of you. You're a big old softie. Can I get a hug? All right. Just, you're doing too much. No. And then Tommy gives him a parting slap across the face and ushers him away. And then Tommy asked Madam, like, should I warn this fool about what's about to happen? She was like, nope, he's a grown man. I mean, he's a young kid, and they just dumb as hell, but he's going to have to learn this lesson on his own. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I 100% agree. Because if you know, because I feel like Tandy is one of those customers who's been there on and off for quite some time. So she probably has a history of doing this to the young performers. But he insists on them being great people. So I mean, you also have to let them learn their own lessons, I guess. All right. Carla is sitting outside the club, and she appears to be plotting some sort of revenge plot on Madam. And there's some dude sitting in the car with her, and she says to him, like, I want you to kill her. She thinks she's the baddest thing walking, and I'm basically just here to take her off the map. And he's like, well, why? Well, like, what did she do to you? Ain't that your sister? She's like, no, half sister. We just got the same daddy. All right, we black, and we know if that's your sister, that's just your sister, brother. We don't do no halves, no steps, none of that. That's your sister. And what she's mad about the fact is that her money supply has dried up. Why? Because when her dad was living with her dad ran the Black Rock Boys, which is, I'm assuming, a gang of sorts, and they were giving her money out of respect for her dad. And now that Madam was conspiring with the judge to get the dad taken away from Carla, she wants everybody dead because her money has cut off. So she wants the guy to not only kill Madam, but to burn that club down. She needs her revenge, and that's how she wants to get it. Maybe not the wisest way to get what you want, because you know who your sister is. But in this situation, we also know that you also got a little bit of crazy in you. So yeah. So yeah, she this is a very big deal. And she tells the man, like, listen, I'm gonna pay you. I always take care of you. But I've done you favors, so now you owe me. So I guess in favor back to Carla, he's going to execute the mission. Or pretend to do so. But we'll get to that. I think we'll get into that next episode, but we'll get into it. All right, Diamond's back at the club, and she goes to Blue looking for Madam, and you know she's all off kilter because what she's learned about Imp. And Dime finds it weird that Madam is on a run with Tommy as opposed to Blue. And Blue's like, yeah, I found it weird too. Do you think she's still mad at me? And Dime reminds her, like, no, Madam loves you. It's just something she's got going on. And then Dime tells Blue that she saw something. But if she's wrong about what she saw, that this will be real bad. So she doesn't want Blue to tell Madam until she can confirm, what's really going on. Just promise me you won't say nothing, and I'm going to tell you what I came across. And then she tells Blue about the $1.5 million plus that she found under Amp's bed. And now Blue is on go at all times for Madam. So now she want to go get the money. She want to take Amp off the map. Like, she just want to do everything. And now she realizes how we all realize that Amp is probably the one that set Madam up to be robbed. And again, Diamond's like, let me talk to him, and then if he doesn't say, anything sufficient, maybe you can come in and talk to him. And Diamond says, let me talk to him first. And Blue's like, wait a minute, are you in love with him? Are you in love with this ex-con that just got out of jail? And she's like, no, girl, no, but I think she kind of is. And she's like, I'm gonna give you 20 minutes after we close. And she And Blue's like, all right, cool. But there's no excuse for him to have that kind of money. You just don't want to admit it. But I'm gonna let you have your 20 minutes, and we're gonna have to get with him, essentially. All right, so it's not looking good for your boy Amp. It's not looking good. He better have a real good explanation, or he's gonna end up in a wood chipper. That's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna hurt Madden to have to kill her nephew, but I'm sure she's made greater sacrifices for the greater good of what she got going on. So we'll see. All right. Fuego goes to Carla in the VIP room. She just wants to talk to him. She paid for the room, and she insists on getting her time. I don't want to marry him. I still love you. And but it's her father. They have an image to uphold. And he's like, listen, you are an adult, and you still have to listen to your dad, and that you're listening to your father. That's why we didn't work out. Yeah. And then she tells him, yeah, I have to, because I don't want to end up cut off like my sister. All right, cool. So if that's where you want to be, go over there and go with your dad, who's controlling y'all with his money. And I'm going to just stay over here and mind my business. And then she tells him, we got a reputation to live up to. So, just let me help you. He's like, listen, I don't want nothing from you. And then he was like, well, if y'all have such a reputation, what would your dad think about you being here? Exactly. You care so much about what your daddy think, but you tiptoeing behind his back to be here at my workplace. This is all I got going right now. So um don't cause me to lose my job. Just go ahead and leave, and just don't come back. We're good. We're good. And he's like, listen, you want to help me, but you can't even help yourself by way of standing up to your dad. I'm good, love. Enjoy. All right, so Tommy and Madam are at the hospital to see the redneck that survived the massacre at the junkyard. And so she sprays what she says is a lye mixture, lye, LYE, compound, a chemical compound of sorts, that will melt his face if he sweats or if water is added to it. So as a sort of a lie detector. So it's like, if you're sweating, then you must be lying about these questions I'm about to ask you, or I'm going to throw water and melt your face if you don't say what I want to hear. So they're talking, they're just chatting, and she's like, well, they're just talking, and she's like, well, why did you attack me? He was like, I didn't attack you. I upheld my end of the deal. And she's like, well, what damn deal? And he was like, a deal that I had with Bill. And she's like, so yeah, you knew my money was there when you were stalling, earlier when Blue was there. Yeah, but again, that was my part of the mission. And she was like, okay, fine. That's cool. That's your end of the deal. But some of my money is missing. Where's my money? And he was like, I don't know anything about that. You're going to have to go take that up with Bill. And she was like, well, there's a problem. Bill is no longer a resident of Earth, so I can't do nothing about that. And then she was like, and he's like, okay, that's cool. And then he was like, man, he told me this was going to be hard. I didn't think it was going to be this hard. And she's like, who? And he's like, Amp. And she's like, Amp? And he's like, yeah, you didn't know Amp set all this up? So now we have confirmed that we got the second confirmation that Amp is probably in on the setup with Red and Bill stealing that money from Madam. And well, like I said, it's going to hurt her to kill her nephew, but it's going to be necessary at this point, because I feel like if she's your auntie, she would have, I don't know if she would have given you that much money, but I feel like she would have helped you or put you in a position, since she has all these people that, owe her favors or are indebted to her over loyalty. So I don't really see the benefit in orchestrating this whole thing to steal the money from her, unless you were going to get the money and leave that day. There would be no point to hang around, because of course it's going to get back to you at the end of the day, unless you've underestimated how powerful your aunt really is. 1. And for 2, or did you get out of jail early? I'm not sure if he did his time or if he got out early in order to work for the FBI that's trying to take down Madam, and this is your way. Like, what's the benefit? I don't know the benefit just yet, but I guess we're going to find out. So that has been it for me. Let me know what you think about the episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.